I want to do everything. I want to do everything, and it's the idea that I have to pick something and kind of stay on it is so, I hate it. I hate it so much. I came to NYU after high school. I had like a 2.0 GPA. I was a horrible student. I didn't really care that much about school. Then end of senior year happened, and I didn't really know what was going on. All my friends were getting into big colleges. I had been fortunate to be in a new environment that my dad placed me in. Really nice school area, really amazing academics, but I didn't take advantage of it, and suddenly all my friends were now going to places like Berkeley, Harvard, Northwestern, all these really great universities, and I had nothing. And I get a call from a family member of mine, and they saw something. They saw something in me. And they told me, they said, "We see that you like acting. You're interested in it." And up at this point, I had just done a production at my high school for my senior year, a musical. I didn't have a big role or anything, but they had seen me in it, and they invited me to live with them in New York. The idea was that I would move to New York for 2 years, do community college, at least get out of my environment in Colorado, and figure it out. And so I said, why not? And so I moved. I went to community college. Fast forward some time, and I ended up getting into NYU, and I transferred in. When I first got here, I was studying acting. I didn't get into the musical theater program, and so I opted in for the acting program. And it was a great program. I'm on my third year of NYU right now. I just finished up my 2 major years of acting, and it's been nothing but amazing. And I really learned the craft of acting and what it means to be an actor. But I couldn't help but feel like there was a part of me that wasn't being creatively fulfilled. And I remember I had watched, I had heard someone say that, everyone's going in through the front door, you gotta go through the back door. And so, pause. So, I hopped on a bunch of film sets. I DM'd probably every senior at NYU that was in film, because NYU has a great film program as well. But the worlds are so divided. There's not much collaboration that the staff or faculty sparks between the two programs, and there's kind of a clear distinction. You're either one or the other thing. To be both, you're kind of like, what are you doing? And so, or that's at least my perspective. Maybe some people have it differently or feel otherwise, but so what I ended up doing was I DM'd everyone I knew, or not everyone I knew, everyone that I respected. I saw their work, and maybe out of the few hundred people I DM'd, a few got back to me, and so I started PAing. And what's funny about PAing or being a PA on set is basically production assistant. It's basically all the work that no one wants to do. And so they offload it onto this person who's just running around doing menial tasks. And that was me. And I looked at my calendar the other day, and quite literally for every weekend, my first year at NYU, I was on set. And so I realized, and this started to get in the way of my acting. I think I was doing generally okay, but I didn't give acting my all. And I really quickly realized how much time is a commodity, and time is very important when you're deciding what you want to do. Because while I think that I got a lot out of these 2 years at NYU for acting, part of me feels like I missed out because I didn't sink my teeth so far into it, because I was, indulging in this other path of film and TV. And you could argue that in another way, it's also, you know, beneficial. And I think it is what I did. And I'm happy with it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, well, back to the story. So I got on these film sets, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And again, I hadn't always. The goal in my mind was like get to know the people that are making this stuff, because those are the people that are hiring the actors. I had such a hard time getting on short films. I didn't know enough people. No one knew me. NYU is such it's such a big but small world, and what I started to realize, it's almost a reflection of the actual industry itself. You have a bunch of people who are making a bunch of art, and a lot of times they just want to work with either a phenomenal actor or their friends. And a lot of times they'll choose their friends because there are just so many phenomenal actors. Everyone's a great actor. Everyone brings something personal to the table. So when a lot of money gets involved, or a lot of time, and these are very laborious projects, you want to work with your friend, And so I realized I needed to meet the right people, the people that were making it. And so over the course of a year, I went from PAing, and I started seeing a lot of the same faces. People started recommending me to other projects and cool things. And I eventually moved my way up from PA to, more interesting roles where I got to learn more. But this whole time I was observing like how this machine worked, and it was amazing. And so I started doing key gripping, and kind of like shadowing a lot of other people. And then a friend of mine who saw something in me, he brought me under his wing. And since then I've been producing a lot of short films, music videos most recently, and I very quickly have just been embraced by this world. And in doing so, I'm trying to find what I really want to do, because I just have this insatiable hunger, desire to create stuff. And what I learned again was time, and I have all these ideas, and it's just so difficult, this idea that I have to be confined to one thing. It's hard. But what's also so equally exciting is that the opportunity is here. The opportunity is here. I was just talking to my friend Bella today. She was talking to me about her struggle with acting and how she's trying to see these managers and whatnot, and she needs a reel and this and that. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, Bella, the people are here. The people that can help you with that are here. You know what I mean? We're all at a time in our lives at NYU or in college where we want to work with new people. You know what I mean? Maybe not everyone, but for the most part, that's why you come to college, to experience new people, experience new things, and for an art school, create awesome stuff. And so this conversation kind of reminded me today that the opportunities are truly limitless. And it's a wildly scary and empowering thing at the same time, because I want to do everything. And sometimes I kind of get stuck because I'm worried that I'm going to put my time into the wrong project, or, these things take a lot of time. And I don't know, I think it also just goes back to me being afraid to bet on myself, because it's easy to produce another person's project. It's easy to direct another person's project, to act in another person's project. But to have the art come from me, it feels so much more scary. And then it comes down to like, what do I actually want to do? Because there's so many interesting things, just things that interest me. Like finding the balance between art and commerce is something I'm so wildly interested in. You have all these talented filmmakers who struggle to find careers because, who's going to pay you to direct? Everyone wants to be a director. Who's going to, in an industry where people want to, it's a very connection relationship based industry. How do you stand out? And how do you balance that with commerce? Because money is the driver of a lot of these projects, especially when you get to the bigger levels. And so I've just been thinking about, how do you take these amazingly talented people, get them to reframe a bit, and make advertisements almost, right? And this is not anything new under the sun. I mean, Super Prime does it. It's an example. Josh Safdie, I think, or maybe Benny. No, it was Josh Safdie. He just did the Knicks ad. You know, it was like a minute long clip of the night that the Knicks won the championship. He wrote it, shot it, and edited it the same night that they won. You know, and it's an amazing example. And that's just one of my ideas, though. Another idea is like, I want to like start singing, and I want to start singing again, and I want to make a music video, merge those two mediums for myself, have a cover cinematically shot so that I can post, you know, and it kind of merges these several concepts: acting, directing, a music video, music, singing, producing also. So it's kind of like, I guess right now I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. But, you know, I'm also thinking maybe that's not the point. Like, the point is just I don't know. But, you know, I have a notes app filled with thousands of ideas that I come up with every day. And they're just sitting in there. You know what I mean? They're just sitting in this back pocket, and you know, it's a good creative exercise to come up with ideas. It is every day. Like, it's a great skill to have, or a great muscle to train. But at some point, I just need to freaking do it for myself, you know. And I think that's my next step. You know, I don't know what that looks like yet, but I think I need to start small. And that's the harder thing is, like, when you have an idea in your mind and you have such high goals for it, it's difficult to get started because you feel like you can't do it. You know, you need the money, you need this, you need that. You've been told that all your whole life. But I just directed these music videos, 10 music videos for an upcoming artist, and a producer friend of mine who's extremely tapped in brought an insane amount of just people who have done amazing work and should not have been on this set for the budget, but they did. He pulled favors, and I realized, like, I wasn't ready to do the thing. You know what I mean? I did the thing. We did it, and it looks great. I don't, just like reflecting on that moment, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if I had my next movie, if I was to be given a script and be offered to direct several million dollar production, right? I wouldn't necessarily be ready yet because I don't have enough skin in the game. You know, and what a shame it would be if I had that opportunity to not fumble, right? Because I do believe in myself, but it's almost a disservice to go into the gym and try and lift 300 pounds when you haven't done the reps before that, you know what I mean? So there's also that aspect of it. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's just, I want to do everything, and it's so, but I guess that's what these next few years are for, you know? I have an idea in my mind, a really ambitious idea, and so I'll start working on that. But in the meantime, these smaller projects are actually what's more important, you know? Getting the practice to do it. And so if I can find a project where I'm merging, if I can make small projects, just 30-second clips. I was talking to my friend, she needs real footage. I said, let me produce a 30-second two-shot or just a simple scene. We'll shoot it for like $1,000 and we'll make it beautiful. And it's an exercise in acting. It's an exercise in directing. It's an exercise in producing. And so that's my main thing, is where am I getting my reps and where am I putting my time? So, I'm super grateful for where I'm at right now. I don't even know why I made this video. I was just lying in bed thinking about that conversation. But yeah, I am excited to see what happens. Hopefully, in a year's time, I'll be looking back on this video and it will reaffirm everything I kind of said, and maybe disprove some other things I've said. I love being disproven. I love realizing that maybe my way of thinking isn't the best. It's a great, humbling experience. So yeah.